What am I supposed to say when I call a lead that's signed up? If you run a tree service company, you've probably had such a question, or you probably have a question like this right now. And so in this video, we'll cover everything you need to say on a call with a prospect that's interested, or a prospect that's signed up. These strategies can also be applied to other service-based industries, like roofing, hardscaping, etc. You will learn how to handle common objections that you may encounter on the call. I'll also provide you with the exact lines and phrases to say in different scenarios. These lines will be ideal, so it's best to adapt them to the way you speak and apply them to your own calls that way. If you skip any of these steps in this video, then your close rate will plummet drastically. You can also find these slides in the description to view in your own time. I recommend taking notes on it. And I'm sure you know this by now, this video is part of a larger series of trainings, which you can find in the description, so I recommend checking them out in your own time. As usual, if you want this entire process done for you, we can help with that. If you'd like to outsource this process of coming up with ad ideas, creating and running those ads, creating offers, building out your entire funnel, posting to your socials, etc., we can do it all for you. Just a disclaimer, we solely focus on lead generation and funnel building. We don't call your leads for you, but we do offer one-on-one sales call training. We work with arborists that own their own tree companies and help them 2 to 3x their revenue in a few months. If you choose to work with us, you can save months of trial and error and focus on delivering a high-quality service. No pressure, the choice is yours. And make sure to take notes since this is one of the more important videos that I'll be making. So, things you should do or say on the call. The first thing you should do is set the proper tone for the entire call. Most people get on calls with prospects and talk 80% of the time. They do not take the time to listen to their prospect. Over the call, you should let the prospect talk as much as possible. Build as much rapport with them as possible so they get comfortable. The goal of the call is not to impress them with your knowledge. The goal is to understand their needs and wants and provide solutions to them. A good rule of thumb is to never talk for more than 40 seconds without looping the prospect back in. Use simple clarifying questions to keep them engaged. Stuff like, does that sound right? Is that what you're seeing too? Am I understanding that correctly? Just to reiterate this point, the more they talk about their situation, the more comfortable they become with you. The second thing is you want to get to the decision maker ASAP. Before you invest your time and energy into the conversation, you have to make sure that you are speaking with a person who can actually say yes. If you are not talking to the decision maker, politely ask to speak to them or reschedule the call to when they are available. They as in the decision maker. Time spent with the non-decision makers leads to countless excuses like, let me think it over with my spouse, or other kinds of excuses and ghosting. And usually the people that give excuses are almost impossible to convert because their objections aren't real. They're simply lying to you to get out of this. That's why you must always reach the decision maker so they can give you a clear yes or no. You want to aim to understand the prospect's vision. Ask your prospects this question. What do you want your yard to look like when we're done? And let them talk for a long time about this. As they talk about their ideal vision for their yard, they naturally reveal the emotional reasons behind why they're requesting the service. For example, if they want a tree removal done, it's most likely a safety concern for them and they want to alleviate stress. You can use these emotional reasons to show that you really understand what they're going through by repeating it back to them. And this drastically helps close the sale. Next, always lead with value and not price. Most people buy things off of emotional security, not price. If you can present yourself in a way that makes them feel safe and confident in you, then the price almost becomes negligible. Your job is to position yourself as the company that handles everything, including the small details homeowners do not want to worry about. The key here is to make it extremely personalized, and you know exactly what matters to them because you completed step 3 and listened to their vision. This is what can separate your tree company from other tree companies with generic sales pitches that are looking to leave quotes. Because we all know homeowners are sick of those kinds of tree companies. This step is simple. The goal of determining whether it's a priority job or not is to determine your pricing. If a tree urgently needs to be cut down within a week, you can easily charge higher prices and the client will understand because you have to go out of your way to remove their tree. If it's not a priority job, you can reschedule it for a dry period so that you still have work while other companies are running dry. Price breakdown should be honest and detailed. This usually occurs towards the end of the call. You should strive to provide your potential clients with honest and accurate price breakdowns. You can even go above and beyond and text them a digital copy of the bid sheet. This massively builds trust and increases the chances of a follow-up call or even a close. If you do not have a bid sheet, comment below and I will refer you to one. Now we move on to the most important part, which is objection handling. The first and most common objection is, "Now's not a good time, I'll reach back out later." As I said, this is by far the most common objection that you will get. There's a simpler question that you can ask, which lowers the prospect's guard. Ask this in a concerned voice. "How can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you getting upset with me?" This question triggers doubt in their mind about their decision and makes them open to your input. Here's exactly where you hit them with their pain points. Suppose they're looking for a tree removal. You need to talk about how their kids would be in danger if the tree doesn't get removed. Or you could talk about how the tree falling could incur huge unwanted costs. And more importantly, you could also talk about mistakes other homeowners made by waiting too long. This prospect will see this as you expressing concern for them. Essentially, you want to talk about as many consequences as possible to get them out of their current frame of mind, which is the fact that this job is not important and it can be postponed. Next, company B offered me a cheaper quote. In most cases, you do not want a price match right away. You must wait until the right time. Price matching right away makes you a commodity and you will constantly be competing with cheaper quotes in a race to the bottom. The right thing to do is flip the prospect's mindset to prioritize value over the price of your service. Let's say you get on the phone with an interested prospect and they tell you, company B gave us a lower bid. First of all, you want to find out the exact details of the quote. Many prospects will straight up lie about getting a cheaper quote just to get you to lower your price. And you can ask something like this. Can you go through the proposed bid with me specifically? Because maybe you're better off going with them. This last part is really important since it lowers their guard and allows you to get an understanding of their quote. This way you're not guessing on what they're missing out on. Once you find out all the specifics, you want to start getting them to think results are more important than cost. After they go over the proposed bid from company B with you, you should say something like this to flip their frame of mind. Well, it really just depends on what type of result you want. Is the price the most important thing to you, or is it solving the problem and getting the result you want? In the case of tree removal, it can be getting your tree removed and making your yard safe for your kids to play in. Something like that. After you tell them this, they will most likely respond with, "We definitely want the result, but if we can get a better price, that would be great." To which you respond, "Well, can I make a suggestion to you? The service they quoted you for only does this and that." This gets them to think that maybe the company that gave them a cheaper quote is not going to get them the result that they're looking for. Then say, "We could give you that exact same quote, but it just depends on the result that you are looking for." From this point on, you need to build 3 distinct frames. Frame 1 is company B's quote with a poor result. Frame 2 is your original quote, which has the best results. Here's an example of a script that starts from the beginning and implements the 2 frames right after you say, "We could give you that exact same quote, but it just depends on the result that you are looking for." Let me just go over it and you can pause the video and read through this yourself. Okay, so moving on. This is an example script that implemented the 2 frames. So just a side note, you don't want to be speaking for over 40 seconds. So make sure to check in with the prospect often, as I mentioned earlier. Other than that, after that final line, the prospect's mindset should have been shifted to prioritize results over cost, and they should be much easier to close now. Now, just a few things to keep in mind. Never tell the prospect what to do, unless they specifically ask for it. Telling a prospect what to do makes them feel like you're scamming them. So if you don't want to end up on Reddit, then you should always make suggestions to your prospects instead of telling them what to do. If you want the prospect to take a certain action, then you must guide them through the action and make them feel as if they're coming to the decision themselves. Lastly, do not get desperate. Keep in mind, there will always be around 1 in 10 people that still don't want to move forward, even after you handle all objections. Maybe they just don't like the sound of your voice, and that's fine. At times like these, you need to simply walk away. It's important that you do not get desperate, otherwise they will never come back to you. It's like dating. If you come off as desperate and needy, the opposite party will be uncomfortable, to say the least. So that's all for this video, and I hope you're able to close the next prospect you get on a call with. Thank you and see you in the next video.